my name is Rusty Godwin. Here with David Kennedy, my colleague. We work with HCL Labs, and we work on Project Quattro. Specifically, we're working on the Open Client. David's going to take you through a demo of our Open Client prototype and talk about the Open Client architecture some. I do want to mention that if you have any questions about this session, both David and I will be in the Innovation Coffee Room following this session. So
I'm assuming others can hear me. I'm not able to hear Rusty at this point. So I'm not sure if he's on mute. And I'll go ahead. And what we want to show today is Project Quattro, in particular the Open Client portion of Project Quattro. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A session. Also, we have an Innovation Coffee Room that we invite you to come to, and you can ask questions there. We can go into more details of what we're showing here today. So, as I said, what I want to show you today is Project Quattro. Now, in particular, we want to talk about the Open Client portion of Project Quattro. Now, the Open Client portion happens to be allowing multiple clients to basically view your email. So what we want to do is take you through a typical scenario that you might go through for your email and associated applications, and show you what it means to basically have an open client and a different way of looking at Domino Mail. Now, my client of choice happens to be Apple Mail. So I'm going to start there. And as you can see, when I open my Apple Mail, I have in my inbox has a number of different email in it. Here we have received an email from Rusty Godwin, who's a new member of the team, and he's requesting for a meeting to discuss the expenses for the project. So as I said, Rusty's a new member of the team. One of the first things I might do in this scenario is I might go ahead and add him to my contacts, because I likely have frequent interaction with him, and I want to be able to quickly get to his record. Now, also, he's asking for a meeting to discuss the expenses of the project. So the next thing we'll do is let's go ahead and open our calendar. And let's set up that meeting. We'll create a new event. We'll add it to our Exchange calendar, update the title. And Friday is a good time, and we might change its time to be 3 p.m. And let's go ahead and add Rusty as an invitee. And we'll send that off. Okay, so now in this scenario, we've set up our meeting. We're kind of done with this email, although we may want to come back to it at some point in the future. So let's go ahead and create a folder and call it Quattro. And let's move that email into that folder for later reference. We'll look to see our email is there. Okay, now we've sectioned that off so we can come back for future reference. Now, leading up to the meeting, we might have a couple of things that we want to jot down so that we can discuss in the meeting. So let's go ahead and open Apple Notes and create a new note. Let's add some format, some items. Let's talk about infrastructure, maybe devices. Okay, so we have our note, right? Now the days pass and we've had our meeting. And the outcome of that meeting is that I've picked up a to-do. So let's go ahead and add a to-do. We'll open our reminders here. And we need to update our expenses. Now this to-do we'll go ahead and set for due at some point in the future here, maybe next Monday. 2 o'clock's fine. We might even jot ourselves a note. Okay, so we've created our reminder. Also, coming out of that meeting, we learned something about Rusty. So let's go ahead and open contacts. Rusty doesn't happen to be there at that point, but that's okay. We can go ahead and add a new contact. And you might have learned his phone number. And let me see, we have his email address. And we might even add, we know what company he works for. Let's add a job title. We click done. Okay, so I've taken you through a scenario that you might experience going through your day-to-day business and interacting with mail and associated applications. And when I started, I said what Project Quattro and Open Client was is a different way of looking at your Domino mail. Now you might say that this is the same way of looking at Apple Mail that I see all the time. The key here is it's a different way of looking at Domino mail, right? So we're not talking from Apple Mail to a Microsoft Exchange server. We're talking to Domino in the back end. And I can show that. I'll go ahead and open iNotes here. And I've logged in with my account. You see the emails that I had in my inbox. If I expand my folders, you see my Quattro folder. Here's the email that I moved into that folder, the details about who sent it. If I open my calendar application, I see the new meeting that I set up with Rusty Godwin as an invitee, time at 3 p.m. I can open my contacts, and I see Rusty in here with his title, his phone number, email address, first name, last name, etc. You can also look at my to-dos here. Here's the to-do that I created with my note to myself to include hiring expenses. And I can look at my notes. Here I created a note. Here, when I started, this is a proof of concept. You can see that we haven't quite completed and we need to make sure that we're formatting our note text content properly. But here we've demonstrated that, we now have Apple Mail talking to Domino through the backend. So how have we done that? Let me go ahead and show this picture here. This happens to be a very high-level architectural overview of Project Quattro or Open Client. The piece that we've been talking about primarily here is this EWS middleware piece. This is a loopback component application that we've created as a piece of middleware where we have a number of controllers. We have an auto-discover controller so that clients that talk EWS can, given the domain of the person logging in, discover our endpoints for Exchange Web Service protocols. We also have a controller to receive the mail requests and the SOAP requests that are coming in. So we're receiving SOAP requests from clients that talk EWS, and we're converting those SOAP structures into protocols, into structures that Keep understands. Some of you may have attended Stefan Wiesel's talk on Project Keep just before this. If not, again, come to the coffee room and we can talk more details. But what we've done here is we've converted the SOAP structures into structures that Keep and Domino understand. Internally, we have a couple of transport layers. Here, we're using an HTTP transport to talk to Keep. We're also set up for a cloud events transport over an event bus, so that we can use that. But what this does is it basically opens up Domino now through Keep in our middleware layers to any number of clients. If we want to use Outlook on Windows, we have the middleware layer that talks MAPI over HTTP, so that we can support that environment. It's also opened up with the Keep APIs. Even third-party vendors could come in and write their own middleware piece and allow their client, very specific to their business, to talk to Domino through the backend. Now, when I started this, I said that my client of choice happened to be Apple Mail. So just to show that I can also open Outlook here, and I can create a new account. And choose my provider. Exchange Web Services is my provider. And I'll add my account. Click done. You see over here on the side, I've added my Dave K. Mail account. If I look at my inbox, again, I see the emails that are coming in. We've created our Quattro folder. Here's the email that we moved into that. Again, all of this is talking through that middleware layer for EWS and in turn through Keep to Domino in the back end. And further, open our calendar. We see the event that we created. Look at our scheduling. We see that Rusty is the invitee here. And if we look at our contacts, we'll see the contact record that we created. Actually, I'll also see the other one we added from our email. It apparently didn't get synced down to the server by the time I got to it to update it. We actually have two contacts here. And we can look at our to-dos here, and we see the update expenses that we created with our note and due date on Monday. So what we've demonstrated here is the ability through this EWS middleware layer for multiple clients to talk to Domino in the back end through the Keep protocols that has been added. And again, we'll open this up to multiple middleware implementations so that more and more clients can now talk to Domino in the back end. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show today. I appreciate you joining our session, and hopefully if there aren't any questions, we will see you in the coffee room and we can talk about it in more detail.